So,
Hey,
welcome to a very special episode of Intentionally Linked.
very special.
Very special episode.
Yeah.
Where we're going to be doing some dumb things.
Yeah. So this is the episode which is going to air in between Christmas and New Year's.
That's right. And we don't want to make anyone have to take time away from their family and work on our podcast.
Yeah.
So we are telling the team they cannot edit this podcast at all or do any engineering on it. They have to put it up raw.
Raw. No video editing, no audio editing.
Yep.
Dan, audio man, is there anything you'd like to
hold
say?
on. No audio editing?
None.
No audio editing of any kind.
Seriously, Brandon?
Yeah. You can say this one was edited by Alan Smithy.
We did take the things off so it's not full of jingle bells constantly.
That is good. So I apologize, everybody who's watching this. This is an unedited version you're going to get.
They will appreciate you so much more after this because they will be like, wow, this is what happens when you don't cut out Brandon clearing his throat or coughing or sneezing or
fix all the 10-second stares. Last episode, we stared at each other for 15 solid seconds because we didn't know what to say. And I assume that's been cut out. If that happens this time, it's staying in.
You're just going to have to watch it.
Yeah.
So
anyway.
We really have no topic.
We don't. But
even worse.
Speaking of last episode, there is a Christmas movie, a major and beloved Christmas movie we did not bring up. And you don't like it very much.
I mean, I have the opinion that you have on the Muppet Christmas Carol for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, and it's a Christmas Story.
Yeah. Red Ryder, BB gun.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
I think it's the boomer thing. Getting a BB gun, I don't care, right? It's partially that. I'm like, okay, I'm glad that you are excited by this, but I have no connection to you, little kid. The secondhand embarrassment thing is kind of through the roof in that movie where I'm like, I don't find getting a lamp that funny. It's awkward wearing the bunny outfits or whatever it is they do. And I like the kind of framing and narrative device they use to tell it, that kind of Wonder Years type thing.
Yeah.
I get bored watching it.
I love the narration.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy the movie quite a bit, but it is not one that I go out of my way to watch.
Yeah.
Actually, my wife and I were super excited to show it to our kids when they were, finally 6 or 7 years old, the first ones. And we're like, oh, good, now we can show you this Christmas movie we loved when we watched it in the 80s. Mm-hmm. The 80s had a lot more swearing in their movies.
I mean, it's a plot point in that movie.
There's a lot of it. And we realized, oh, wait, I don't think I want my 6-year-old to be watching this and then repeating those words back to me.
Yeah.
But
so Christmas Story is kind of just meh to me.
Okay.
I like the memes about it better than I like the movie. So there is that.
Well, there you go.
All right. They've been dying. They didn't get one last week. I hear that there might be a food heist.
There is an amazing food heist.
Christmas miracle. Days late.
It is not Christmas themed. I guess maybe it's Christmas themed. You ready for this?
You told me this was one of the best ones.
This is one of the best ones we have ever gotten. This is so good, it feels like somebody did it in response to us asking for cool food heists. That's how cool it is.
Wait, you mean they didn't listen? We told you specifically.
We told you
don't
that
go
it was
steal
a joke.
Food because
for legal purposes, we have not encouraged anyone to steal food.
Yeah. If you do, send it to Dan, but don't mention us. But don't.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Okay.
There is a lake on the border, the triple frontier of Germany, Switzerland, and Austria.
And someone stole the lake?
Called Lake Constance.
Okay.
In German, it is the Bodensee. And I've been there, and it's wonderful. It's lovely.
Okay.
There is a Swiss company called Fish Group, which, first of all, is already amazing. And they make, once a year, a special limited edition batch of gin.
Okay.
And they do this for a festival. And for all I know, it is a Christmas festival because just a couple of days before recording this, they tried to get it and found that it had been stolen. But here's the deal.
Uh-huh.
They have an 800-kilogram solid, not solid, but stainless steel sphere that they fill with gin. And then they seal it tight and they sink it to the bottom of the lake.
Wow.
And let it sit there for 100 days. Because allegedly...
You're kidding. This is real?
No, this is a real thing. It is called an Edelstahlkugel, which just means solid stainless steel sphere.
It sounds so much cooler when you say it in German.
It's an Edelstahlkugel. They do this for 100 days because that imparts, allegedly, a special aroma to the gin. I don't know what that... Chemically, that seems implausible that being at the bottom of the lake inside of a steel sphere would actually change it, but what do I know?
Uh-huh.
So anyway, this thing is filled. Each bottle of this gin costs 99 francs.
Okay.
Which is a little over $100 US.
Is that what a franc? Sorry. Franc is a people. Is that what a franc is going for?
A franc?
Yeah, the francs were a person.
Yeah. That's absolutely, yes. You
I
have to round up 100 people named Frank.
No, I was gonna
give them to this Swiss.
The Franks. I was gonna say, is that what a Frenchman is going for right now? But I self-corrected. But this is, this goes up no matter what. So
yeah. So
yeah.
Our bad anti-Frenchman jokes stay in. No, and so just a couple of days ago. It is today. What is today? The 15th of December that we're recording this.
Yep.
I think it might have even been this morning or yesterday because I've been inundated with messages saying, "Hey, did you hear about this?"
Your spy network.
The divers went down to the bottom of the Bodensee, and they found the depression where the steel sphere is supposed to be. But the sphere itself is gone.
They don't chain that sphere in place?
They do.
Oh, okay.
They chain it in place. Somebody came in. This is why this is full-on heist, right?
They needed
divers.
This
is an underwater thing. They clearly had tools. It weighs well over a ton. It would be extremely difficult to move this. They had to probably cut through those chains. And they stole an 800-kilogram stainless steel sphere full of limited edition gin.
That seems really hard to move.
Mm-hmm.
They must have this is legit heist stuff because you steal Red Bull, you can sell that basically anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But this stuff you can't sell on the open market because they'll know that this has been stolen. It's like selling stolen art.
Yeah.
They have to have a buyer already.
They have to, and that's the thing is. I was so intrigued by this and by the alleged aroma that the stainless steel sphere imparts to it. I can't imagine. And so I did some research and I started asking around, what would the sphere actually do to the gin, or is this all for show? And pretty much everyone that I have talked to is convinced that it is all for show, that this gin will be more or less indistinguishable from any other bottle of gin.
Okay.
But
you can't sell it for that much more, right? Then
that's the thing. If they just sell this as is, they're getting 10 francs a bottle max, right?
Right.
They have to tell people that this is the special stolen limited edition gin in order to get their money back.
Yeah.
So that's amazing to me.
So here's the thing. I think this is our first time that if these guys get caught, they aren't going to food heist prison. They go to regular prison.
They go to real prison?
Yeah.
Which sucks because they would be the kings of
That's
food
why
heist
you can't
prison.
let them go to food heist prison because it's full of schlubs, right? Right? Off the record.
Yeah. This is like Ocean's 11 kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like a full movie. This feels like one stunt during Ocean's 12 where they're like, well, we're going to steal this weird thing, and then it takes 15 minutes, and then they move on to another part of the story. I would I would love to know what happens with this. But it's as heisty of a heist as we have ever had.
Yep. You would need to add some sharks or something. You know, it's probably a freshwater lake, so robot sharks or something. You know, there's got to be a bit more of security, but otherwise, it's a straight up, you know, a straight up real like fantasy heist. The Sphere, like, I'm loving this. You are right. This is a banger.
This is a really good one.
Man, I hope they catch him so that we find out like more about this one. I don't want this to disappoint.
Part of me really wants them to get away with it because that's, I don't know. I'm kind of rooting for them at this point. But on the other hand, I want to know who it is. I want to know the whole story. I want to write the made-for-TV movie, the Netflix original adaptation of the great gin heist, Fish Group.
Fish Group. I mean, that is a great title, but not for a, like, Fish Group belongs in our other food heist conversations, not in this one, right?
I know. And
this should be
I should not call the movie
initiative.
Fish Group. I would love to call the movie Fish Group, but no. The movie will be called Edenstahlkugel.
Because that'll sell. Yeah, that's just gonna, man, everyone's gonna know what that movie's did. Yeah,
that one sells itself.
All right, so I got a new thing for us to do.
Okay.
We were talking about this episode, and we're like, this is the episode where everyone's at home. They don't have work. They need to escape their family. Probably their in-laws. You know,
you're visiting the in-laws, or you're home from college, or whatever it is you're doing. You're bored, or you're actively avoiding your uncle, or something like that.
So we thought we would do something very weird. Because I don't know, and I'm going to open a pack of magic cards. Now, this is not that weird. I do that all the time.
Yeah.
But Dan, this is my favorite game. I know many of you don't play it. Don't worry. You shouldn't. This is not going to require in-depth knowledge. In fact, it's better if you don't, because Dan has not played in a decade or more.
I have played a handful of games with my kids because my sons found my old magic cards and pulled them out, and they're like, "Dad, what's this?" And I said,
remember the dark
more elegant
days.
weapon for a simpler time." I basically have not played Magic with anyone other than very occasional games with Brandon in probably 10 years. So I have not kept up on what the sets are, on what the mechanics are. I enjoy the game. I've got other things going on.
I thought that maybe I would read some names of cards and have you discuss what you think they do in the game.
Now, and this is specifically a goofy set,
This
right?
is a goofy set. It's called Unfinity.
Yeah, Unfinity.
Unfinity. And then I'm going to tell you what it actually does and see how your mind reacts to this.
Okay. Am I allowed to know, like, color and mana cost?
I'm just going to read you the name.
Just
You're
the
going to tell
title
me
of the
what
card.
it does.
Okay.
Yep.
There we go.
Here's the first one. Carnival, Carnivore.
Carnivore.
Yep. What do you think this card does?
Oh. Well, boy, Carnivore.
Yep.
First of all, the word carnivore heavily implies that this is a green card. A carnivore is got to be one that rampages through the streets eating like, children who go to the carnival, right?
Eat the children who go to the carnival.
So I'm going to guess that this is a green card that, if it's got to stay within the color pie, it can't just devour people, like, without combat. Maybe it can force specific characters to block it so that it can, eat who it wants to eat.
That's a good guess.
How about that?
So here's the first thing. The creature type is alien crab horror. You got it close. It has death touch, which means it kills anything that it touches.
Okay.
It is a black card.
It's a black card.
Yep.
Okay, that was
Here's
the other guess.
What happens when this thing you cast this thing, you get a sticker. Then you can put a sticker on anything you want.
Oh, okay.
That's what the Carnivore does.
That's what it does.
Yes.
Clearly, I'm not thinking weird enough
You get
for
a
this
sticker.
set.
Now, it does have
Does
a
it
picture.
come with a sticker?
It does not have a sticker.
Oh, you just get a sticker.
You have to find a sticker from the stickers. There's some stickers in packs these days.
Okay.
And you get to have a sticker, and you get the power to put one on something.
And that has meaningful effects based on other cards?
Maybe sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes. So it is it's got, it says, grand opening, enter here, and has a giant monster and a child standing next to its tongue looking in thoughtfully. So
Okay.
you got pretty
I'm
close.
glad I got the art brief.
Yeah, you got the
Okay. A card that eats children. I got the color wrong. I got the ability half wrong.
half wrong. All right. How about this one? One clown band.
One clown band.
Yes, one clown hyphened.
One clown band.
Yes.
So like a one-man band, but
Yep.
it's a clown.
Yep.
Is
Creature
this
or
type
not?
clown?
Yes, clown something else. There's 3 creature types.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Clown musician?
Bard.
Bard.
Uh-huh. Good.
Okay.
Good choice.
And then the last one is going to be, oh man, what's a single noun that means lonely person?
Okay. It's actually
Writer.
robot.
Robot.
Clown robot bard.
Clown robot bard. And he is a one clown band.
Yes.
Okay. And so a one-man band can do everything himself.
Uh-huh.
So I am going to guess that this is a one-cost white creature, 1/1, who has every keyword in the game.
That's a smart idea. It actually is a common. I should tell you if these are commons so that you can. That's more of a power for like a rare or something.
That
This
would be a
one
rare card
can
for sure.
just make itself bigger. It can pump it or other robots so that it gets bigger and bigger. It's a red one with fire breathing, basically.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so all right. Here's another one for you. The Space Family Goblinson.
Space Family Goblinson.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sensing a lot of like schlocky B-movie
Yes.
as a theme for this.
Carnivals?
Aliens and robots
Yes.
and all that sort of stuff.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Space Family Goblinson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My initial instinct is that this is just a red goblin card that when it comes into play, it creates some other goblin tokens because it's a family. But that's not weird enough.
Not weird enough.
We need something that is goofy.
Yep. It's not that goofy. It's just a little goofy.
Okay.
This is an uncommon.
Does it connect to the stickers?
It doesn't connect to the
Doesn't
stickers.
connect to the stickers.
I'll try to find somewhere in here.
Okay.
There might be another.
There might be
sticker.
another sticker card.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Maybe. Oh, how about this? Because it's a goblin family.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes into play, you as the player gain creature type goblin.
What a clever idea.
Yeah.
That's a clever idea. They should be hiring you to make these. This one gets bigger every time you roll a die.
Like if a different effect asks
as
you to roll a die,
dice,
this
it gets
one will
bigger.
get bigger.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So let's see. Ooh. Brims Barone Midway Mobster. Brims, in quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Brims Baroni. Brims Baroni.
Brims Baroni.
Midway Mobster.
Midway Mobster.
Yep. This is the name gives you some hints on this one.
Yeah.
It's
So,
a human rogue.
a human rogue.
It's an uncommon. It's a legendary creature, Brims Baroni.
Well, Midway Mobster connects him back to the carnival.
Yep.
Which in my mind says he's a sticker card.
Stickers can be in. He's not a sticker card, but stickers can help.
Stickers can help.
Yep.
Boy, Brims Baroni. So he's legendary? Is he legendary?
He is legendary.
Okay, good, because he has a unique name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you can't have more than one of them.
Yep.
That means that he's got to do something big. What would a Midway Mobster do? He's going to shake people down for protection money.
Ooh, you're missing his nickname.
Brims?
Brims.
Oh. How about this? If you as the player are wearing a hat, he's more powerful.
You are right.
Yeah?
Yep. And when he enters the battlefield, any creature you have that has a hat on
Like if
gets
the
a
art,
counter. Yeah.
If there's a hat in the art?
Yes.
Okay.
And so with that other card, if you would put a hat on something.
Oh, like a hat-shaped sticker?
Yeah, I mean, I put a hamburger on a character once and said he's wearing a hamburger as a hat. It's on his head. He got a counter.
Nice.
So there you got pretty good on this one. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see what else we got.
Bad.
Yeah, here this is super shiny. This is a common called hat trick.
Hats as a theme
Hats is a theme
coming up more often. It's a common.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to be. Is it just no? It can't just be an enchantment that counts as a hat. It's
it's
a
an
hat
instant
trick, which means it's got to be an instant. Which means, is it just given character counts as if they're having a hat this turn, or is it going to be no? Hat trick is 3 things. Can it do 3 things?
It doesn't do 3 things. They missed that one. Oh wait, no, you're right. Maybe it does. Let's see.
Or does it have 3 things and you pick one of them?
Yes, it has 3 things.
It's a modal card.
It doesn't. It gives you. So yeah, it's 3 things. It's cleverer than I thought. I was only read the first part of it. All right, here it is. Target blocking or block creature gets +1/+1.
Okay.
Gains first strike until end of turn. If it has a hat, it gains double strike until end of turn. If you and the creature each have a hat, it gains triple strike.
What is triple strike?
I don't know. It doesn't say, and it doesn't exist in the rest of the game.
So first strike is your creature deals damage before the defender hits back. Double strike means that damage happens in the first strike and in the normal damage phase. Triple strike means that there's an extra damage phase afterwards?
I guess so.
Okay.
All right, we're getting to good ones now. Lifetime pass holder. Lifetime in quotes.
Lifetime pass holder.
Mm-hmm.
Lifetime being in quotes.
Yep.
So once again, this is going back to a carnival for me.
Yep.
So it's going to be hats or stickers or both. Also, lifetime in quotes implies that this is a black card that's going to be a vampire or a zombie.
Got it. Yeah.
And so, man, I can't remember how they themed vampires because when they started using vampires a lot is when I stopped playing the game. Zombies can kind of come back to life. So a lifetime pass holder that can just keep coming out of your graveyard sounds
You got
cool.
it. You nailed it.
Yeah.
It's a zombie that comes back. It does this weird thing.
Okay.
When it enters the battlefield, you open an attraction. Whenever you visit,
is that like assembling a contraption? Like
yes.
it means nothing?
It actually means something because they now.
Okay.
It's exactly the same as assemble contraption, but now you can actually assemble contraptions. You can open an attraction.
You can also open an attraction.
And when you roll to visit an attraction, if you get a 6, you can return it from the battlefield, from the graveyard to the battlefield.
Okay, that's cool.
So I think we'll do one more. I'm sure
is carnivore an attraction?
No, it isn't. It's a person.
It's just a thing.
Our attraction in this was the information booth.
Do
you want to guess what the information booth does? So you open an attraction, you roll a die every turn. If you land on it, it's actually pretty boring.
Okay.
The attractions all just do kind of normal things because the attractions themselves are weird. It draws you a card.
Okay.
But here's our last card. Here's our last one.
Our last card.
Yep. Hydradoodle.
Hydradoodle.
Yep. Hydradoodle.
Okay. Hydradoodle.
Yep.
Okay. I think the obvious direction to go is that this is something art related, but I think more likely this is like a labradoodle, except a poodle crossed with a hydra.
You have done
7-headed poodle that, I don't know, gets counters on it when you deal damage to it or something like that.
Close. When enters the battlefield, roll X 6-sided dice. Then it enters with the number of +1/+1 counters on it, equal number of those results. So you get to roll dice, and then it has that many heads. You did a really good job of this. Several of yours were more interesting. But that's because I hadn't warned you they're commons. They have to keep the commons a certain level of normalcy because it's already pretty weird where you're adding stickers. Oh, I should give you. Does this have a sticker pack? It doesn't have the sticker pack because it was like the special.
So funny that they added sticker packs to it. I love it.
Here's the thing: the stickers are vintage legal.
Really?
So right now, the way that they do it is they realized they wanted to print some cards in these sets that could be played in regular games. They found that people
like regular black border cards.
And so if they put a little mark at the bottom, it says you can't play this in a regular set. But if they don't, you can play it in a regular set. And
So
both.
why do they use a mark instead of just the old silver border idea?
Well, the way they print the cards, you have to have a whole sheet of silver or a whole sheet of black, because the black and silver is there to hide the cut mistakes.
Oh, okay.
When the cards are a little
That's
off
for the
center and
bleed
things
and
that
stuff
and the
like
bleed.
that.
So you
Okay.
need a full bleed between the cards. So they were finding that they either had like to do full sheets or not full sheets. And what they realized is that really hampered the design process.
It would constrain them a lot.
And so instead, if they put a stamp on, that could just be part of the card. And so the stamps say, this card is, you can't actually play this in tournaments and things like that. If it doesn't have a stamp, you can. It's an acorn stamp because acorn means silly to them. And so you can put stickers on things. Now, legally,
That is awesome.
Yep.
I love there was a huge movement in board games, 10, 12 years ago to start doing legacy games.
Yes.
Where there would be, cards in a board game that you tear up or the stickers that you apply to the board and then that permanently changes it forever. And that isn't as common anymore. It was absolutely the hotness for a while. I think it's cool that they're doing that with Magic.
Now they did back off on making it what we call legacy game. They were gonna do it, and then they realized they couldn't make that work in the actual rules of Magic as they were currently written. So right now, if one of these things with a sticker goes to the graveyard of your hand, the sticker falls off, meaning it no longer is stickered.
Really?
Yep.
That seems like a weird way of doing it.
Yeah, everyone was disappointed. I'm disappointed also because you put a sticker on, it should just stay there. Your character now has a hat permanently, right? Like that would have been.
I
more
can
interesting.
understand that.
Yeah,
they don't want that to happen. Like if they don't force the sticker to appear during the game, then just everyone who goes to a tournament can now put a sticker on every card in their deck, just in case they need it for something.
Yes, it would be miserable. And in Magic, like
sense.
the name of the card indicates what the powers are. So other things can't influence that. To keep consistency across languages, right? Like you need to be like, this name means this. If the English name is this, then that's what it is. So it is disappointing though. We kind of, after we read all this, it plays really well. It's really fun. They did the coolest card. I was hoping we would get it, but we didn't. In the whole set for me, there's a couple of very cool ones, but the coolest one says, pick an object, put a power and toughness and creature type sticker on it. It is now a creature.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so
like these antlers.
Yes.
Or
I mean, my son was playing and he had his power brick for his phone, and it was going over and flying and attacking people. He gave it a name because you can sticker on names on it. And so the sticker sheets come with like a few things that could be like hats or just accessories, a power and toughness, several powers, and then names, words that could go in names. And so he named his little thing and he had it flying around. And I've seen pictures online, people like, they're like, I've stickered my laptop, I've stickered my car. It's now a creature in the game,
That's super cool. Yeah. So the stickers for game purposes, does it have to be one of their stickers?
Yes.
If I have like a Hello Kitty sticker, I can't just
Nope, has to be one of their stickers. And if you, the tournament rules are you may bring 3 sticker sheets of official stickers. And if you don't have them, you can have them generated digitally and just be like that one. And stuff like that. But it's really, that's really fun. They have a card that's saw in half. I was hoping to get that one, which kills a creature and makes 2 copies of it that each have half its power and toughness.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the opposite of the big hairy monster, whatever.
So lots of clever little things in this. I'm sure our audience, they like hearing apparently us talk about random things, but I think this might have been too random. But we'll see. We'll see what people think.
You know what?
Tell us in the comments if you
they're
want us to...
hiding in the back room, avoiding their in-laws. We can talk about whatever we want.
We did get a squirrel.
There was a squirrel?
There's a squirrel.
Oh, just a squirrel token?
A squirrel token. And check out this planes.
Okay. That is rad.
Yeah.
I love that. It's like the planes is Saturn.
Planes is Saturn, and it's all sparkly and shiny and
cool.
Really cool.
Have we talked on the podcast before about the squirrel deck, the 10-card Magic that we used to play?
I think we've referenced it, but I don't think this is a story you have to necessarily tell only once.
So, when we were in college, we really got into Magic a lot. And we came up with our own formats. The main one we played all the time, we just called it 103, which today is essentially what Commander is.
Yeah. We didn't figure out Commanders, but it was still 100 cards, and it was
100 cards, at least 3 colors,
Yeah.
because we were trying to encourage big, stupid decks. Then we invented one that we called 10-card Magic.
Yep.
Where you
Which
build
was
a deck.
the opposite of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is basically, it's, we want to get this stupid combo off. Let's see if we can make it work.
Now he says we invented a format. We did this once. He
Yeah.
said, everyone bring one, and we'll see whose dumb, degenerate combo is the best.
So your deck had 10 cards.
Yep.
And you get 7 of them right off the bat. And then, 3 turns in. The other big rule, of course, is that you can't lose by milling.
Yep.
Because everyone's going to run out. And so Brandon and I each came to the next, game night or magazine meeting or wherever we were doing this with our deck. And my deck was, I love token decks. And so
Tokens are where you just make a little creature. That's like a card in Magic can only really be one creature. So they'll have things that say put 2/1/1 tokens into play.
Yeah.
So that usually you'd use coins or something like this. So a card can make 2 objects.
Coins or marbles or whatever. So I thought, well, this would be fun. I found a way to have a card that doubles the number of tokens that you have. And
Every
then
turn, right?
Well, it just did it once, but then the combo in the deck was that I could pull it back out of the graveyard every turn.
Okay.
And I can't remember what other cards I used to do this. When I thought, maybe if I'm lucky, I'll be able to double the tokens enough to deal some impressive damage.
Yep.
And there's maybe one deck in the whole world that my squirrel deck would beat.
Yeah, because
and Brandon
everyone
built
else's
it.
deck were like super cutthroat, and my philosophy was I'm going to turtle. I'm going to build a deck that hides behind a shield and can't be hurt. Because there's a card that says like you can't take damage and things like that, and you have to sacrifice it like when a card's put in your graveyard. But I'm like, if I have all my cards in my hand, and I play this and manage to get like the lands back in my hand, then if I can't be targeted and my thing can't be destroyed, then I can just turtle here. And I made it away so I couldn't be targeted, my things couldn't be destroyed, nothing could go in my graveyard, and none of my cards could get destroyed or discarded or whatever. And then I would just turtle back behind this, and I set it up.
And you had some kind of creature that got bigger every turn.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And so the idea was to protect you and him while he very slowly grew until he was 20 power and he could march over and kill me.
Yes. And so...
But that took like 20 turns.
Took 20 turns. And so you had 20 turns.
And I doubled my squirrels.
Of doubling your squirrels.
20 times.
Yes.
This squirrel deck also included the card that gave every creature plus X, where X is equal to the number of other creatures that share a type with it.
Yep.
And so it was something like 8 million creatures.
Yeah. So in Magic, for non-Magic laymen, it's like each squirrel got bigger for each squirrel you had. Normally a squirrel does 1 damage. These each did 1 million damage, and you had 1 million of them.
Yes.
Yeah, I lost that game. I had a 20 power creature that was supposed to kill you, and turns out that didn't work.
Yeah. And when we realized what was going on, it was one of my favorite Magic moments.
Because I realized I can't win unless I spend 20 turns waiting behind my shields, and you're like, oh, really? Is that so? Yeah.
It was delightful.
Yep. The sad thing is, I know Magic way better now, and I'm pretty sure there are turn 0 wins, which means
probably
you can win before the other player has a turn, and you could construct a 7 card. But we build it as 10 on purpose because then you don't know if you're going to draw them all.
You don't know which ones you're going to get.
Yeah. but you can hedge against that and things like that. I bet you could build one that wins before the other player has a
There's
turn.
absolutely a reason that 10-card Magic has not become a popular format because it is completely degenerate and unplayable.
So were we going to talk about anything like
I think we had talked about holiday traditions or childhood traditions.
Yeah, because it is the holidays still. Yeah. Do you have any of those? We've been talking about random stuff. What did I write down? I wrote down some notes.
You wrote down notes?
Oh, I wrote down in-laws.
In-laws.
Okay,
yes. We were going to talk about once you got married and suddenly had in-laws, how did your holiday traditions or activities change? So for me, I happened to get married right I proposed to Dawn while her parents were separated. And then by the time we got married, they were either divorced or almost divorced. So it was like that time, which meant, it was not pleasant for anyone.
Right.
But the upside to it is that, our first 2 or 3 years of marriage were during that immediate post-divorce period where her parents were fighting for our affection.
You're saying this with a smile. That normally isn't something that people are happy about.
Well, it wasn't great, and obviously there were problems with it.
But it wasn't your parents.
But first of all, it wasn't my parents, and second of all, they were going out of their way to the presents we got were way cooler. The food they prepared was a lot more impressive than they otherwise would because they were each trying to say, look, my house is the better house to visit for Christmas. And so it has been, for the whole 20 plus years we've been married, tricky to figure out how do we do 3 sets of parents for Christmas? Who gets what holidays? How are we going to navigate this? But those first few years were kind of fun because it was like they pulled out steak and lobster and all this stuff instead of just regular old, here's our Christmas ham,
Okay.
It was a weird tradition time, but it was kind of fun. There was an upside to it.
The weirdest time for me was actually not right after we got married, because Emily and I, for the area, were older when we got married. We both, had careers, houses, things like that. We were used to also moving in and out with roommates and things like that. So the first times, but when we had provided a grandchild, then things got weird for a little while because my parents, this was their only grandchild. On Emily's side, there were lots of grandchildren. So, but there was the first time that my mom had a grandson to spoil and my dad had a grandson to spoil. And the mountainous wave of presents that materialized. And my sister Jane's to blame a little bit because she liked having a nephew to buy presents for. And for a couple of years, it was just like this, you'd open the door and they'd sent more. And you'd open the door and they'd sent more. And then there's just this mountain of presents for a 2-year-old. And that was a little weird. They calmed down a little bit. But.
So when did you and Emily start doing Christmas just at your own house?
First year.
First year?
Yeah.
Because for us, it took a while. It was, and again, we were trying to juggle 3 families, but it was, our kids, our oldest kids were 3 or 4 before we finally were like, you know what? Christmas morning is just at our house. We are our own family now.
Yep.
Because everybody wanted us to come over. Please do Christmas Eve with us. Spend the night. Do Christmas morning. And we finally had to kind of put our foot down and say, nope.
How old were you when you got married?
I was 22.
22. So
22.
it is like when I was 22, I was going home to my parents' house for Christmas, right? Like that's something to, my siblings were still young. They were still excited by opening. Like I had a 10-year-old sister and things like that. And so, when I was, 31, It was a different, little bit of a different experience.
It is very different.
And so the first Christmas we just had by ourselves. We went to her house for Christmas Eve because her family does like a little Christmas Eve devotional thing, which my family had usually done something like that too. It's like Christmas Eve, let's focus on the religious aspects and things like that. Christmas Day, open presents, Santa Claus, and it's kind of a nice division.
Yeah.
And so we went and we saw the family, and then came to our house and, got up and opened presents,
That's cool.
And we, it's a different experience from some of my friends who got married a little bit younger. The weirdest thing for me was, well, weird is probably the wrong term, but Emily, maybe a little bit much, stressed about what are our Christmas traditions going to be. Like, this was a big deal to her.
Really?
Consciously, like, we have to have Christmas traditions. Let's come up with what they are. What are they going to be? And I'm like, I don't know. Delete. Oh, we'll have a meal and open presents. And she's like, but what are your family's traditions? What do you do? And I'm like, open presents. None of the things my family did felt like things that we had to do, right? That were carryovers.
Yeah.
They're just, we opened one present on Christmas Eve usually because we couldn't wait when we were kids. And then you got to have one to open. We would have a Christmas breakfast the day of, but none of these felt like traditions. They more felt like accommodations. And so even still, Emily's like, sometimes, what tradition should we make? And I'm like, I don't know. What do you want to do?
Whatever you want to do. So like the two main traditions from my childhood that we have held over into my family are, one, open one present Christmas Eve, right? We do the same thing. It's usually the sibling presents. Whatever, lame crap that the 4-year-old buys for the 5-year-old. Sure, you can open that Christmas Eve. The other one, and this is something that we did as kids, and I always thought was super fun, and Dawn hates it, which is Christmas night. After you have, done family parties, you come home from grandma's house, whatever. This is the evening of the 25th. We would stay up all night. There was no bedtime that night.
The 25th. That's an odd time to pick.
You have to go to bed on the 24th.
Right.
But you've spent
Santa's
all
gotta
day
come.
on the 25th opening presents without the ability to play with them because you got to go to grandma's house. And, when I was a kid, we had, we went to one grandma for lunch and a different grandma for dinner. And then finally we get home at 9:00 at night and we're like, I haven't been able to actually put any of these Legos together.
See, in my family, it's always, you do that on Christmas Eve. Go visit everybody. And then on Christmas Day, you open presents and you play with them.
Yeah.
You got a new Nintendo game. I got a new Nintendo game. You're not seeing me for 10 hours.
You're
Goodbye.
Never gonna see me again. And so our thing was always, you don't have to go to bed Christmas night. And so I thought that would be a fun thing. And foolishly, like an idiot, told my kids that without clearing it with
your
Dawn
wife?
first.
Oh.
And she's like, what? No, that's a terrible idea. But I had said it out loud, and the kids were like, okay, that's the rule now for the rest of time. And every year she's like, oh, why do the kids stay up all night? This is so obnoxious. And we don't. We just go to bed.
They legit stay up all night?
They try to.
Okay.
I've only ever had one, I think, that stays up all night long.
Okay.
And then he is, grumpy and miserable the next day. But that's what he wanted, so that's what he did. Beyond that, there were always like little things. Like one thing that I used to think was a core part of Christmas morning is that we would line up by height in order to go into the living room where the tree was. And it doesn't make any sense. The door would be closed, and then my dad would go in, and then we would all line up and we would go in. And it was a huge moment for me the first year that I was the back of the line because I was taller than my mom. Like, that was a big thing. What I realized as an adult is that the one and only purpose of that was so my dad could take a picture of us as we were coming into the room. And without that, I want to capture the instant where you first see the pile of presents under the tree. Without that, there's no point to the ceremony of lining up and going in. And so we just don't do that anymore because that's kind of silly.
My favorite Christmas memory ever. Is when I was old enough not to enjoy the spirit of Christmas more than the presents.
Yeah.
I had gotten there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Older teen, maybe young 20s, home for probably young teen, because but my youngest sister Lauren, who is wonderful person. She's a little bit of an oddball. Even in our family, full of oddballs. She's the oddest of the oddballs.
Yeah, she's the one that I don't know very well. So
she is. She's the most unique in our family of unique
says
individuals.
a lot.
Yes, coming from the fantasy novelist, she's the weirdo.
Yeah.
One morning she must have been 8, so she was old enough that this was unexpected, but not so old that she was like a teenager. We got up. And she just entered a manic phase like I've never seen a human being enter before, because it was Christmas time. She started shaking and like getting hyped, and she's not normally like this, and her jaw was literally going because she was so excited. And my brother Jordan held her so she couldn't go upstairs yet because parents weren't up. They were coming out, and we were in grandma's basement at this point, and holding her on the stairs, like up with like her legs running like you see in cartoons, and she's just like she'd been hit with 4 cans of caffeine, and it's the funniest image I have ever seen is Jordan holding her. He would have been 16, up off the ground, so that and as soon as my parents appeared, he let her down. She went the stairs. It's delightful.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I love that. So we have in my family a tradition that I did not until about 2 years ago realize was a tradition, which is my grandma Wells, my dad's mom. She would make a kind of shrimp pasta salad every Christmas.
Okay.
And I have been eating that at Christmas since I can remember. She made it every single year. She made it for other things as well. It never once occurred to me that was a core part of Christmas until a couple of years ago when we host the big family Christmas party now.
Yep.
And so my parents and my siblings all come to my house, and the first year we were doing this, they were trying to plan out the menu, and someone immediately is like, we have to do Grandma's shrimp salad. And I'm like, why? And they all looked at me like I was a monster. Like, how can you even think of having Christmas without Grandma's shrimp salad? And I'm like, well, that's just a thing that was there. Did not occur to me that was important or that was part of it. And I don't have, there's no follow-up to the story except that I apparently am a terrible grandson.
Well, I actually thought of a Christmas moment I like even more.
Oh, really?
Yes, and that's when the Christmas Ben shows up.
The Christmas Ben?
The Christmas Ben shows up and says, "How's that, Brandon?"